Oh, welcome. Good morning. It's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I am here to share with you some guidance for this week ahead. That's this week starting today, Monday the 19th of October, through till Sunday the 25th of October. So I am continuing to run with my intuitive take on the week, like I've been doing for the last few weeks now. So I trust you resonate with this method of bringing the energy through and the guidance for the week. Wow, what a week we had last week. Actually, the guidance from last week was monumental in a really powerful week, which just continues. Powerful healing. The key for it has been me looking at my priorities deeply. So I don't know if you remember or if you saw last week's video, but I talked about priorities quite a lot, and I decided that I was going to look at that closely. So I made a list of where I feel my priorities are in this moment and numbered them. So top priority down was about 8 in the list. Then I made a list of what I want my priorities to be from the top down. And then I made a list of where my attention is going. So what's taking up my time, what's taking up space in my head. And I made a list of those, and it was revealing. So it showed me things that are taking up too much space in my head. It showed me some things I need to make changes on, just a couple. And it showed me where some things are actually quite even and quite on par with where I want. So tick that. And it showed me some things I need to increase and things to get rid of. And maybe some things to bring in as well. It was so revealing, and it changed things pretty much instantly. Like things that I didn't even really take much action on started resolving around me as I started getting my head clear about what I want my life and my days to look like. So if you were felt guided to work with that too, then I trust it worked out for you. If you haven't yet, then I trust you will maybe go back and have a look at last week's video. So thank you so much. Welcome. Extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light family, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'm going to be doing is using my combined Animal Kingdom Oracle cards with my Speed of Light Oracle, and I'll be using this deck to find the best cards for this week in an intuitive way. I'm going to lay them out here in front of me and see what I need to share for the week ahead. The other thing that really stood out for last week, I'm thinking, is Thursdays. Thursday, my goodness, was that on point. The need to take a mental break. I just basically could wipe that day off my week last week because I just couldn't do anything. I had no energy to do anything at all, so I just ran with it and just rested. Then I looked back at the weekly guidance, forgetting about that on the Friday. I was like, oh my gosh, this so fits in. So it was a really interesting week last week. And I feel that these intuitive perspectives are allowing us to access the potential for the week in a bit of a different way. It's less linear, less structured, less this day, that day, that day, that day, but it's more fluent because this is what the energy does. Depending how fast or slow we move through things will depend on where the energy goes, where it rolls, where it twists and turns. So I'm going to lay out some cards down here. I'm going to shuffle. Just remember, as always, that this is a guide only. Take on board what feels right, what resonates, and what fits into your life easily at this time. Just let the rest go. So if it doesn't make sense, if it doesn't resonate right now, it's not really that big of a deal. So just let things sit, let things be loud at the time, and come back and connect with the recording as needed throughout the week. So I'm looking for the best cards for this week for the majority of us. And I'm just closing my eyes to see how I want to lay these out. Okay, so I'm seeing an image in my mind's eye in regards to where I want these cards to lay. I'm putting them face down in front of me, and we will see. We'll see what comes up, and then we'll put one there. Okay, so Just turning these cards over. Oh, yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. So we've been guided as we begin the week. So around Monday, the 19th of October, this is the chameleon. Give it your full attention. Attention. So there's something here as we begin the week that requires our focus. So let's be careful as we start the week that we don't distract ourselves or want to run or want to bolt or want to numb or want to ignore, that we actually look head on, straight on into whatever it is that we're feeling, whatever we might be going through healing-wise, which is how it's been for me already this morning, which is Monday. But for you, you might find that maybe there's some work you need to focus on, a project, something that requires your attention, and you might find it happens quite easily. If you're trying to distract yourself, if you have something you have to do but you keep procrastinating about it, then maybe use the guidance of this card to bring your attention to what it is you need to do. So your lower self will try and distract you. Don't let yourself be distracted on Monday, because there's important work on some level that needs to occur. So if you can focus on it, that's great. If you can recognize I'm being distracted, I'm procrastinating, get back on track, get back focused again. Procrastination is a massive waste of time and energy. So I don't sit in that energy for very long or for very often ever, because it's not my way of rolling. So I find if I'm leaning into that procrastination energy, that's a way for me to go, right, out. And so then I get focused on something. It might be something simple like having a shower or vacuuming or something very mundane, but it's just a way of getting me focused off the procrastination or whatever's distracting me. So Monday and early in the week, the beginning of the week, a great supportive energy for staying focused and attentive to what it is that we need to accomplish or achieve or heal or focus on for now. Then as we move further in the week, we have, now is this for Tuesday? We have Wolf, card 44. So this is reminding us to trust our instincts, especially as we move through this cycle in our life. And there's this big cycle feeling, like this big moon feeling here at the front, just like this picture, like it's a pregnant belly. And it feels like it's flowing and moving like a cycle or a wheel. And there feels to be like these phases that we're moving in and out of at the moment. Just want to put a pen on my cards because it's a little windy at times. So there's a phase that we're moving through, and I feel this is going to apply most likely later on Monday into Tuesday, maybe most of Tuesday and into Wednesday, this cyclic feeling. There's this fullness feeling, like the fullness of a pumpkin before we pick it or harvest it. The fullness of a lady who's just about to pop out a baby. So it feels like those last moments before you get the big pumpkin from the pumpkin patch, or you are about to give birth to a child or a new project or a new creation or a new thing. There is this sense of fullness that something is just about to manifest. So there's a cycle happening and it's reaching the fullness. It's a bit like the moon, when the moon is just about full, and then it's full, and then it wanes down into the next cycle. So there is a fullness, there is an anticipation, there is a feeling of something brewing, something coming, something growing, something very close to being birthed, to actually taking form in our life. Now another area or element of this particular card is to trust in the flow of this cycle, especially Monday, Tuesday and into Wednesday. So it feels like this sort of 3-day, partial Monday, partial Wednesday, but full day on Tuesday that's going to be full of this energy. So it's a bit like a flower that you've been watching bloom, 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 and then it's full. So not thinking about, it's about to die, or I'm about to eat it, or what have you, or I'm about to cut it up. There is just this holding, almost like time is pausing in this full state, just before that cycle moves into the birthing phase. So interesting. Now, I'm just seeing where these cards are leading me. So we're going down now to card 1, Pretty sure we had this card last week, Archangel Michael. So he talks about boundaries that are going to be really important. They're going to be really important actually for this, probably most of this whole week, at least most of this working week, so Monday to Friday kind of feeling here. And I see that we're going to need to put up boundaries around us, and they feel actually like bars, which is weird. So it feels like we're being encouraged to put up boundaries, really strong, secure boundaries around us, where we won't let others cross that are trying to pull us down, that are trying to intimidate us or trying to bully us. That we will not let these kind of creatures, it almost feels like creatures that want to come in and take over our space. Let's hold our position, let's hold our ground, let's keep our boundaries firm. This whole week, it feels important. Let's make sure these boundaries are healthy. Let's be careful that they don't become something that we hide behind because it's safe here. Because if we're hiding behind our boundaries, they then become defences. And we will defend our defences until the end of time. So if you feel like you're standing in a walled area and you feel like you have to defend yourself, that people keep challenging you and you have to keep sort of stepping up and saying, no, this is that, this is whatever, then you might be in defensive mode. When I get in defensive mode, that raises a bit of a red flag because it means to me that I'm feeling insecure about something, that I'm trying to keep myself protected and in this safe place. Let's make sure our boundaries are really safe and that they are secure and that we're feeling sure about ourselves in them, but we're not needing to defend them. They're just there. They're just like we're a mountain. We're a mountain. They're a strong force. But we don't have to defend them. We don't have time for it. We've got other things to do. We've got things that we're focusing on, things that we're building, things that we're learning, things that we're creating, things that we're implementing, things that we're discovering, adventures that we're going on. We've got lots to do. We don't have time to defend our defences that we've been putting up. These things end up limiting us. They end up becoming obstacles. Our energy just focuses on those when they could be best spent. Our energy could be best spent elsewhere. So there's like two elements to this card. That's what I'm feeling now for this week, especially Monday to Friday. Making sure we have healthy boundaries, that everything is safe and secure, that we have peace of mind, so we can focus on what we need to focus on. And then the other aspect is let's make sure that we haven't barricaded ourselves in these castle walls and that we have to defend ourselves and justify our actions because we don't. So when we're standing secure in ourselves and in our self-belief, we don't have to defend ourselves because we're comfortable, we're confident. So boundaries this week, important. This is then going to give us time to focus on what we need to do for the greater good, we could say, of the world, but sometimes that's a bit out there, but the greater good for our life and people that we share our life with. Whether this is someone, a co-worker or someone we just randomly meet. It could be a new client that we're working with. It may be people in our family, our friends, people that were coming together for some type of common purpose or some type of common goal. So we come together in teamwork, productivity, holding space together, but not doing nothing. There is a sense of massive productivity here and this sense of coming together, because I've drawn two figures here coming together in love, a love for something, and their arms and their energy is like wings wrapping around the earth. This is so important for what we need to do, not only for ourselves and people around us, but for the world and for the continuation of our planet, and not necessarily our planet, for our species. So if we can make sure that everything's secure, everything's ready, everything's right around us, if our boundaries are nice and healthy and strong, we can focus on these tasks and these things, these adventures, these discoveries, these things we need to learn and grow with. We can focus on these, and there's so much productivity that's around. This is especially midweek. In fact, I feel it peak around Wednesday. So we might feel it a bit less Monday, but it's growing to Tuesday, through Tuesday and into Wednesday. Wednesday we might reach a bit of a peak, and then it may kind of slow down a bit as we move Thursday into Friday and into the weekend. But it feels like there's a growth here, especially early in the week. This is as we stay focused. We can stay focused on having to defend ourselves. We can stay focused on the distractions and procrastinating. We could procrastinate all week, and none of this would make any sense. So it's going to be really up to us to snap out of procrastinating, to just stop overthinking it, because we can. We certainly have the ability to. It's not going to be easy. It requires self-discipline and definitely effort, and we need to be serious about wanting to do it and just get in and do it. We could give ourselves, I like to sometimes do this, if that's something I don't really want to do, set myself little personal rewards or personal goals or gifts to myself as I go. Like I tell myself sometimes, okay, when I get this done, then I can do this that I'm really excited to do. So if there are mundane tasks we don't really want to do, but we have to, sometimes it's good to say, right, I'll spend an hour doing this, then I can focus on that I'm excited to do. And just get that done, little bits at a time. So we're in for a potentially quite productive week this week, and especially favourable for working with other people. So teamwork. We've been encouraged as we work with other people, as we secure our boundaries, as we move through these cycles and phases that are coming up and coming down this week, ebbing and flowing, like the moving of the ocean and the currents and the waves. We have the owls, and these talk about the power of observation. So not only the doing, the focusing, but observing ourselves, observing who we are, observing our reactions and responses and our interactions with other people, observing our life. Now, interesting thing about this priorities shift that I've personally dived into last week, I don't know if you have or not, is the different perspectives that it offers, and becoming so clear about who we are and what we need to do and what we want to do with our time daily. And that's where purpose really counts, is when we create purpose on a daily basis as best as we can. We're going to have off days, but if we can create meaning and purpose and direction daily, who cares about bigger purpose, really? I mean, we might have this goal for something 10 years away. We might not even live that long. I know it's a bit of a pessimistic attitude, but that's just the way I see it. Because that type of attitude inspires me, let's just take this day as it comes. Let's seize the moment, seize the day. Because something could happen tomorrow, and that 10 years that I've been so hopeful for may not even happen. So observing this week is going to be important as well. Observing, that's not necessarily stopping or waiting or being impatient. It's about observing, doing other things while we wait for the green light to turn on. So if there's something, especially towards the end of the week, if there's something that you've been waiting on news about, or action, or the go-ahead, or the green light, you might find that just observe, just be happy to wait for now, because the green light is going to turn on. I'm not sure when, I don't know if it's going to come this week or not, but the green light is going to turn on. Now, as we move to the weekend, we've got new energy coming in. There's this feeling of something shifting, and in fact, this is the birthing of something, and it feels like Saturday and Sunday. And sorry, I haven't been mentioning dates. Saturday, Sunday, around the 24th, 25th of October. It feels like something new coming into our life. And this is the birthing. So this is that pregnant, full pumpkin I talked about before, or the full moon. This is about the birthing now of this. This is something new coming into form or coming into play in our life. It might not be the complete, the baby hasn't just dropped on the ground sort of thing. It might be the process of the labour that might sort of take place, the birthing, the toing and froing, the feedback, the getting this into form. So there is something preparing to come into form. There are new beginnings around. This is light codes. This also talks a lot about writing over the weekend, especially Saturday. Some of us may find that we're just really drawn to get pen to paper or our fingers on the keyboard, and getting some thoughts or some ideas or some stories or memories down onto paper. And then Sunday. What is Sunday? The 25th of October. I feel like this is an initiation day. This is a day to walk through into the unknown and to birth new things. Something shifts on Sunday. In fact, I feel this settledness, but also a lightness that's coming in. This is initiation. It says mastery, milestone, progression, and greatness. There's a feeling here of walking through the doorway into the unknown, into the new beginnings. So there's something manifested. This may come with a test. We may be tested to make sure we really have learned what we've learned. This is like the examination at the end of a learning period. So we'll be tested along the way. And then when it comes to the exam, we're going to be tested to make sure we have really learned what we've learned that year or that period. So this is like the final examination to see if we really have learned what we've claimed we've learned in recent months. And this is about coming out the other side, if we have passed that initiation test, coming out the other side in a new phase and a new way. So there's something very transformative about this week. And a lot of potential. Let's pull a card for our theme. So while I'm shuffling the cards, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this connection, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you want to connect more privately, please send us a message through our website. If you would love to learn more about me and the work I do at Temple of Balance, please visit templeofbalance.com.au. I have one event coming up. It's an online event, and it's a 12-hour healing event. If you would like to dive deeply into your healing, these are extremely life-changing and powerful. And this next one's coming up on the 11th of November, which I think is a Wednesday. And it's going to come to you via videos like this, and I'll be connecting, I'll be diving really deep into this. The focus or the theme is around walking through the doorway into the unknown, into new beginnings. And this feels so important right now. And I look forward to going on this journey with you. If you want to come along, it's very affordable and a really deep experience. If you feel drawn to, just check it out on my website at templeofbalance.com.au. On the home page, you'll find a link to it. So I'm looking for the best card for the theme for this whole week ahead. So this will help us see the bigger picture for this week and help bring all of these days and things together. We have an Animal Kingdom Oracle card. It's the Raven, card 17. It says, face your shadow with honesty. So we've been encouraged this week to look head on, straight on, with complete honesty and openness to ourselves, our relationships, our life. Let's look closely at who we are and recognise where things may be blocked, where things may be stuck, where things may be not as smooth or a bit challenging or not really right for us. Let's look closely at our fear. And for me, I find that fear is something to overcome rather than release. So fear is like I see it as something that I'm hungry for, because it shows me that there's something amazing on the other side of that fear. Because every fear I've had, except for the basic fear that to keep me alive, every fear that I've faced that I can think of has been to try and stop me from going into something amazing. So my fear for me is a sign that my lower pained part of myself feels threatened by what I'm about to step into. So the best way for me that I've found to overcome my fear is to build my strength and my courage and push through that fear. So face your shadow with honesty. Look honestly at yourself. Look honestly at your life. Look honestly at the areas of your life that may not be true, where you may have been living a bit of a lie. Look honestly at your flaws. Look honestly at the things about yourself and your personality that may not be great. What type of person do you want to be? because you have the ability to become that person if you look honestly and deeply at your shadow side. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror and see your flaws. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror and see who you can become, and take steps to become that person by changing your ways, changing your attitude, changing your approach. Because you can do it. You can absolutely do it. You are more than capable of becoming the person that you would love to be. So stop making excuses. Stop being stubborn. Stop having to be right. And start cracking yourself open and seeing who you truly are, and then becoming who you want to be. So I'll leave that with you. Thanks so much for connecting today. And I'll see you next week for the weekly guidance. I will pop in and share some videos as I can throughout the week, some support videos on my Facebook page, so keep an eye out for those. There are also lots in the archive, so check out the video library on my Facebook page, Temple of Balance. If you want to come back to some old videos, they're all got keywords, so if there's something that you're looking for, you might find it in there. So take care of yourself. Thanks so much for connecting, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.